Because remember when Rodgers was almost going to retire right before 2021 training camp, he did his airing of grievances in the press room, really went all in on going off against the front office for 20-plus minutes. And then next thing you know, they bring back Randall Cobb, who had signed with the Texans. They traded for him to bring him back to Green Bay. Gutekunst was asked if he now has more control over the roster, given that Aaron Rodgers, who wanted to put a spoon in the stew from a personnel standpoint, is now gone. Here's Gutekunst.
I wouldn't say that because I don't really look at it as control. I think obviously we did some things for a player who felt he needed that to just succeed, right? And that won't really change. But I do think that there's lessons learned throughout that will probably apply differently, and especially like I think as Matt and I continue to, we're always looking back and saying how can we get better, how can we do things differently, are there trickle down effects from how we do things, and we'll certainly continue to do that.
A player who felt he needed that. Not that we felt we needed it. The player felt he needed that. He wanted a security blanket. He wanted a binky. He wanted a buddy there. And, you know, that's one of the flaws in the overall Aaron Rodgers persona and psyche. And I don't want to try to psychoanalyze the guy. But if you're on an NFL team, that's not the place to have a clubhouse. That's not a place to have your buddies. That's a place where you go play football. And you understand that every year there's a chance guys you've befriended are going to leave. And that's how it works. It is that machine of interchangeable parts, and they always will be changed. And you're going to have relationships that are altered by the fact that you're no longer on the same team. And look, I get it that camaraderie goes a long way. But, you know, Chris, he just has had an unusual obsession with having certain players with him. There aren't other quarterbacks that really act that way or talk that way. They understand you're going to change guys out. We just keep moving. I'll make friends with the new, it's like going to a new school. I'll make friends with the kids at the new school. I'll just do what I have to do. But, you know, he forced that Randall Cobb trade. And remember, he bristled at the idea that he had a wish list of players. He acted like it was a ransom note to the Jets. It was a wish list, and I expect Randall Cobb is going to be signed by the Jets probably in the days after the draft.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting it too. I don't know. They don't need him. That's you know, I hear you. I don't know. I feel like it's always been kind of a bigger play at hand of just showing his power or a little bit, or just something to appease that, to just go, hey, look, they listen to me on something. That's what it almost felt like. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you and all your thoughts there. I mean, hey, a lot of quarterbacks want their guys, right? They want their guys. But usually, you know, they want their guys when they're still good. I think that's what's funny a little too. I mean, he's wanted some guys where you're like, I mean, Brady was best friends with Antonio Brown at the end. Not because they were like best friends, because he was like, damn, he's awesome. He's going to help me in football too, right? Yeah, he brought Gronk in. Oh, yeah, okay, Gronk. Because it's like, okay, well, still, Gronk still, even when missing a year in football, is going to be one of the 5 best tight ends in football when he suits up and plays. So, yeah, I don't understand that either, Mike. I don't. But I'll be interested. I'm not sold that it's definitely going to happen here with the New York Jets. But yeah, there's definitely a part of me that's kind of like, it probably will happen. So one of these guys to make him happy.
Bottom line, though, and you mentioned this a couple times in the first segment, and I made a mental note to bring it up, and I kept forgetting.
Yeah.
I finally remembered. You said, I think at one point, they don't want Zach Wilson to be in charge of the offense during the offseason program. They want to have this done. They want to have Rodgers there. Do we even know he's going to be there? Do we know he's going to show up?
You're right.
Now, when this all first came up 6 weeks ago, we were a month away from the offseason program, and I said, hey, one of the first questions at the press conference where everyone who covers the Jets, the Giants, and anyone else is going to be jammed into that room, and I still hope Rodgers pays proper homage to the Tim Tebow, say the word excited or some form of it 45 times. I hope he does that. But is someone going to say to him, will you be at OTAs? And what will his response be? You know, Odell Beckham Jr. danced around it a couple of weeks ago in his introduction with the Ravens. I want to know, is Aaron Rodgers showing up now? And And if he does, and if he's committed to being there for the offseason program, that's another sign that the Packers went ahead and pissed him off. And he understands, even though he's channeling his frustration with the Packers, he's going to be there because he knows he needs that to develop the right relationships with this new generation of players that will be his friends moving forward. He is the kid in the new school. He better get to class and not just rely upon Alan Lazard spreading the word that when Aaron Rodgers gets here, everything will be fine. Rodgers has to get there himself and make those relationships. That's the one thing that I hope he learned from last year. You got young kids who grew up watching you on TV. They're going to be freaked out when you show up, just like Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs were last year in Green Bay. And look how long it took for them to calm down. And look what happened when they did. He needs to be there from day one after that trade is official and the offseason program is underway. He needs to be there getting to know those guys and getting them to calm down so they can face this daunting schedule of games they have in 2023.
Oh, I'm with you 100% there. I mean, you said it right. All the reasons we talked about. And, hey, he's got a chance there with Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, to, it can be a jump-off spot to get everybody on the same page right away. Hey, we're instilling some new offense. We got some new terminology. It's not too different than what we had. And we got our new quarterback. He's giving us signals and little checks as we learn the plays and do all that. Please. I mean, you talked about in the first segment, right, how great a job it is that he's wearing number 8. Or no, it was earlier this segment. It's great. It was a great first step to the fan base, everything. I mean, if he's not there at OTAs to start, I mean, he might as well wear number 12 then, just to screw over everything he did. Because what's going to happen if he's not there at OTAs? Every Jet fan that listens to sports radio, everything, they're going to be calling Boomer Esiason on Hey, Rodgers is a bum. Rodgers is a bum. $60 million that he doesn't even show up for OTAs. He's a bum. Why did we trade for him? This guy is a bum. I'm telling you. It's going to take over the area if he does that. So he's playing with fire if he doesn't show up and show his face and be there at least at the OTA portion of the offseason.
And I don't remember whether or not he was showing up for offseason workouts before the Packers drafted Jordan Love 3 years ago. I don't remember it being a thing. It became a thing after that. So maybe it was just a manifestation of the fact that he's pissed off at the team, and this is a way you can express it. I just won't show up for the offseason program. I'm only going to be there for the things I have to be. Remember, the first year he was really pissed off. 21, he wasn't even there for the mandatory minicamp, and whether they find him or not, who knows. But last year he was at least there for the mandatory minicamp, but otherwise not present before training camp. I just think that if he's seriously motivated to try to be the best quarterback, best teammate, and have the best team that he can, there's no reason not to be there. And don't tell me it's voluntary, people. I'm not saying this to you, Chris. I'm saying, it's voluntary, it's voluntary. You either want to be the best you can be or you don't. Voluntary is just a label. It's a CBA term. The people who want to be great are going to be there. They're going to be there, and if there's no other evidence of it, we have the bright line example from last year. What Patrick Mahomes did with his guys and how the season turned out post-Tyreek Hill, and what Aaron Rodgers didn't do with his guys and how the season turned out post-Davante Adams. There's value in it, and if you're truly concerned about being great, you're going to be there. And you're going to be around those guys because you need them to get comfortable with you. Hey, you may be able to breeze in and know this play. Oh, I know the offense. It's Nathaniel Hackett. We're fine. These other guys are like, oh my God, it's Aaron Rodgers. I haven't even met the guy yet, and I have to go run this 7 route and try to catch the pass from him, and I hope that I do it right. Otherwise, he's going to be mad at me. That's what you need to avoid, and that's where he needs to. I thought he was smart enough to figure that out, Chris. Maybe I gave him more credit. I'm not trying to be passive-aggressive here. It really makes me wonder, did I give him more credit than I should have? Because you would think that he would understand the impact of his presence on his teammates. That's why he needs to be there.
I think that, you said a lot of good things there, and I'm 100% with you. I do think he's had off seasons where he wasn't there at all OTAs, and he's gotten away with it most of his career. Last year, it was egg in your face a little bit because it was 2 young receivers too, and you didn't help it out. Here, this is more of a similar situation to last year again, right? So that's where I'm with you all the way. He needs to be there for a million different reasons. And hopefully he is, and the Jets can then put their best foot forward and feel confident about themselves and where they are at as a team as they go into training camp and start up for the regular season.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.